first, if we can swear in the translator.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will well interpret English to Spanish, Spanish to English, so help you God?
I do. My name is Veronica Marcos.
All right, thank you very much. And again, good afternoon to everybody here. We're here for sentencing hearing in regards to Mr. Hernandez Martinez's case. All parties are present. And to each side, obviously this is going to be potentially what it is. It's very emotional. If you're not sure if you're going to be able to handle something that's going to be presented one way or another, just excuse yourself. That's totally acceptable. Doesn't matter when. Just don't try and disrupt the courtroom. If something like that happens, and that goes for everybody involved. But I appreciate it. How we'll handle this, the state will first be able to present any witnesses and or exhibits. Then I'll allow Ms. Johnson to present any witnesses and or exhibits. And is he, just making sure that we're good, is he able to hear at this moment?
Yeah, this is not working, but I can get closer from.
If you're able, are you able now that she's translating? You can hear her and double check with him. Is he able to hear you contemporaneously as I'm speaking if you translate? Can you speak up louder? We're going to need to make, you're going to have a microphone eventually in front of you that's going to be loud enough for everybody to hear you, so we'll probably have to do that, but the answer is yes to that. I will then have the state make argument and recommendation, and then Ms. Johnson will be able to make argument and recommendation, and then I will consider the matter and then try and pronounce the sentence. To the individuals on Zoom as well, thank you all very much for being here, appreciate it. Just remain on mute unless you are called and unmuted to testify. And is each side ready to proceed?
The state is ready, Your Honor.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. I have provided a binder.
You're speaking, again, I have to remind myself as an interpreter, slow down so that she can properly translate.
Yes, sir. The defense is ready. I have provided a binder that the clerk has. I can forward it whenever it's appropriate.
That's fine, and then you can hand it to me. Each side is stipulating to all evidence, though, correct, that you all have discussed.
I believe so, Your Honor. I have one composite exhibit that.
The defense is stipulating.
All right. First, there was a PSI that the courts had and reviewed. Are there any exceptions or objections to the PSI?
Not from the state.
Your Honor, I met with Mr. Hernandez Martinez at the jail and reviewed the PSI, and we have no exceptions or objections. I had an interpreter that
Thank
day.
you. Give a second, and hopefully I don't want to make sure everybody's in before we proceed any further. Not a problem. And just saying, there's been a group of people that have come in. I know that's not going to be an issue, but if there's a time or a moment due to and this is for all sides involved, if there's a time that you think you need to step out, it's totally fine. Just do not disrupt the courtroom in one way or another, and so that we can just have a proper proceeding. So I know that's not going to be an issue. And to the victim advocates involved as well, thank you all very much. All right. State, do you have your first witness that would be available to testify?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would be calling Officer Hudson Melvin with Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
All right, come on forward, sir. We're going to put you under oath this way first.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, and as we're going, I just will again to the interpreter. You are sitting closely to him and interpreting contemporaneous. Mr. Hernandez Martinez, are you able to understand as we've been going?
Yes, I understand what the interpreter is interpreting.
All right, so let's get in there before we. Thank you very much, Officer. What was that you just said? I didn't. No, not you. I couldn't hear you.
He doesn't understand English, but he understands what the interpreter is interpreting.
That's the question. He is understanding your interpreting thus far.
Yes, cuando yo interpreto.
State that.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much. The witness has been sworn in, and you may proceed, and we'll just try and remind ourselves to slow. That would be a problem with you to speak not that fast, but I just want to make sure you can hear. And you may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, sir. Can you please state your name and spell it for the court?
First name Hudson, H-U-D-S-O-N, last name Melvin, M-E-L-V-I-N.
Who do you work for? Who do you work for, sir?
The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office?
Approximately 2 years.
What is your assignment with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office?
I'm a uniform patrol officer.
What area do you patrol?
District 2.
What part of Jacksonville?
So that at that time of the accident, it was around beach. It's all over Mayport to Herman. I currently patrol around Fort Carolina Airport.
Were you a first responding police officer to a crash which occurred on October 3rd, 2024 on Beach Boulevard at approximately the intersection of Washburn Road?
Yes, I was the first responding officer that day.
Were you wearing your police uniform that included body-worn camera?
Yes.
Did you activate it at the scene?
Yes, as soon as I got on scene.
And did it capture the scene as you first saw it when you arrived there?
Your Honor, we would stipulate to the video.
I can come in and stipulate it too.
The entering this is Composite Exhibit 1. And may I play on the unit?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, can you see the image on your screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is this your body camera footage?
Yes, that's correct.
And what is the time in the upper right-hand corner?
1912 hours or 7:12 p.m.
I'm going to pause it right as we at the beginning. What did the scene look like when you first got there?
Well, when I first arrived, I knew that there would be motorcycles split in half, and then the motorcyclist laying flat on the ground, not moving, not speaking, and then the truck flung into off the roadway, and then the other motorcyclist on the ground, and then the motorcycle on the roadway.
Sir, can you hear me?
The first individual that you went up to, was he showing any signs of life at all?
No, like his head was flat onto the concrete. I could see blood coming from his face. As you see shortly, I looked up his arm and it was completely there. And I could see a metal shard sticking from his chest. He was responsive to all either verbally or pain stimulus from if I looked up his arm.
And I'll go ahead and skip ahead, but did you also attempt to render aid to the other motorcyclist?
Yes, I did. With him, like there was such extensive damages beyond my level of care. I made sure I tried to check for a pulse, and then I went to the other motorcyclist to perform CPR.
I'll skip ahead a little bit.
Is he okay? Is he breathing? Sir, can you hear me? Sir, can you hear me?
Pause there. You said you did attempt to render some aid if there was any chance.
Yes, sir.
And what is that on fire?
That's the motorcycle. That's split in half.
Give me a second, sir.
We'll stop that clip and go on to the next clip.
What's that?
All right. Was there somebody trapped in the vehicle?
No, after I made sure he was okay, I was like, fire department's already on scene, I wanted to start looking for the make sure he was on the scene.
Hey, this guy's stuck in here. Is he bleeding anywhere? Alright, give us 1 second.
Several minutes later, was your attention directed to a person who was supposed to be the driver of that vehicle?
Yes, a bystander pointed out Mr. Martinez and you called him, so he did this.
I'll play clip number 3. All right, clip number 3, it's at 19:22 hours. Is this Mr. Hernandez Martinez?
Yes.
I think you see you asked for identification in this video clip. What kind of identification was he able to provide?
Before he provided me with some kind of foreign national ID card, I believe it was a Mexican ID card, but I can't tell you exactly what the nationality was.
You got another one? Is it? You got another one? Okay. Can you rescue? Can you rescue? Hand it up.
In case it's not clear, did Mr. Hernandez Martinez have an injury to his right arm?
Yes.
Put that down. What is that? Is that water? Water? Alright, you're gonna come with me. Here, you're gonna come with me, sir. Put that down. I'm not gonna sit in my car with that until we get out and figure it out. I want you to. No, no, check, not yet.
Did you place Mr. Hernandez Martinez in the back of your patrol car?
Yes, I did.
Since this was a fatal crash on Beach Boulevard, is that, does Florida Highway Patrol have primary jurisdiction over those crashes?
Yes, I did.
So did you do any further investigation at the scene? Thank you very much, sir. I don't have any other questions.
Any questions at all? No, Your Honor. Thank you very much. You may be excused. Appreciate it. State's next witness.
And your Honor, State Police Corporal Bisman, Florida Highway Patrol.
Come on forward, Corporal. Same thing. We'll get you over on this side to swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Sir, could you please state your name and spell it for the law reporter?
Corporal Tim Bisman, Clayton, last name Bisman.
And you're in Florida Highway Patrol?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been with the Florida Highway Patrol?
10.5 years.
And your current assignment is what?
Current homicide investigations.
How long have you been in traffic homicide investigations with the Florida Highway Patrol?
Coming up on 3.5 years.
Were you the lead investigator on the case involving the deaths of Kate Espirito and Joseph Lewis on October 3rd, 2024?
Yes, sir.
Did you actually go to that scene and investigate?
Yes, sir.
Approximately where did this crash occur on Beach Boulevard?
In the area of Washburn, which is just west of St. Paul.
And do you know what time you responded approximately?
We arrived on scene a little bit after 8 p.m., 8:13 to be exactly.
By the time you arrived, could you describe what the scene looked like?
Yes, sir. I arrived, I traveled west on US 9 Beach Boulevard, which would be the direction of travel for the two motorcycles. I observed a 2008 Honda motorcycle in two different pieces on the in the area of the driveway for the shopping center that's there. I observed the Nissan Frontier pickup truck that enters to the right, the passenger side. It was on the northwest corner of that driveway, partially on the grass, and it was facing a southeasterly direction. Then I observed the 2024 Suzuki, if I remember correctly, motorcycle that was in the outside westbound traveling on Beach Boulevard, west of the final resting location for the Nissan Frontier pickup truck. And I observed Mr. Spirito as he was where he came upon arrest in the driveway near the outside traveling.
In that area of Beach Boulevard, are there any visual obstructions in that area? Make it difficult for somebody to tell that there's vehicles traveling westbound on Beach Boulevard.
No, sir, it's a straightaway.
How about the weather conditions that you met?
The roadway was dry, there was no rain, the weather was clear.
Did you take photographs, or did Florida Highway Patrol take photographs at the scene?
Florida Highway Patrol did.
All right. Can you see the first photograph on your screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could you orient us to the direction that we are looking in and what we can see in this particular photograph?
Yes, sir. So we are on the westbound travel lanes of Beach Boulevard. The two pieces of equipment that are split in half, that is the 2008 Honda motorcycle that was operated by Mr. Spirito. The pickup truck that is there was, I believe that is Mr. Spirito's father's vehicle. Then there's the two patrol cars. The one has the white lights, the other one just has the headlights on. The one with the white lights is Corporal Dunhauer. The one with just the headlights on is my patrol car. But we are facing a northeasterly direction in the outside travel lane on Beach Boulevard.
All right. Second photo, I suspect the same area, but you orient us to this.
Yes, sir. We're still in the outside travel lane of Beach Boulevard westbound. However, instead we're now facing a northwesterly direction. Again, there's Mr. Spirito's motorcycle in the two pieces, and that is Mr. Hernandez Martinez's pickup truck facing us with the doors open. And then Mr. Royce's motorcycle is the other one that's on the left side of the screen. And Mr. Spirito's is in the roadway under the sheet, sir.
So could you tell, based upon evidence at the scene, which lane of travel the motorcycles had been in prior to the crash?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Which lane were they in?
The outside travel lane, the far right lane.
Okay. Is that the lane that we can kind of see going straight away in this photograph?
Yes, sir.
And what about the Nissan truck? What direction of travel was it going?
So he was traveling east on Beach Boulevard and making a left turn to travel north into that shopping center.
And either in the last photograph or this photograph, were you able to see the area of collision where the two motorcycles struck the Nissan?
Yes, sir. It's in the outside travel lane.
I believe if you touch the screen, you can make a mark. Can you kind of indicate where the area of collision would be?
About in this area, sir.
What is it about the roadway or any other evidence that let you know that that is the area or the approximate area of collision?
Based upon the damages sustained by Mr. Spirito's motorcycle, is indicative that it pretty much came upon arrest immediately when the crash happened, based upon what the collision involved. And then if you look right here, that is a yaw mark, or a skid mark, if you would, from the rear wheels of Mr. Hernandez Martinez's pickup truck, sir. And it's a rotation mark, which indicates that the vehicle was rotating, leaving the roadway.
Okay. I'm not sure if you might have something on the bottom left hand that says erase, bottom left hand on the screen. If you don't,
I do not, sir.
all right. Okay.
Thank you, Officer Jason.
Thank you. I'm going to move past to photograph number 4, just a further back view. But what can we see in this photograph?
We're still on Beach Boulevard westbound, and it's just it's very similar to the first photograph that you showed me, sir. However, it also involves you can see the entire passenger side of the Nissan Frontier, which includes the damages to the A-pillar area in the back right corner from the collisions with the motorcycles. And you can also see Mr. Royce's motorcycle, but we're still facing the northeasterly direction for this photograph.
And so just to be clear, where we can see your patrol vehicle and Corporal Dunhauer's patrol vehicle, that would be the direction the motorcyclists were coming from?
Yes, sir. They would have actually been in the same lane that my patrol car was in.
All right, next photograph, there is the side of the vehicle, there's something on the ground. What is that?
It's into your ball, sir.
And next photograph, what can we see in this photograph?
Another into your bottle in the back seat, sir.
All right, in case it's not obvious where it is, can you circle that? Next photograph, does this show the extent of the damage to the Nissan caused by the collision?
Yes, sir. The collision with the 2008 Honda motorcycle, sir.
Okay. So did the two motorcycles hit different parts of the Nissan?
Yes, sir.
This next photograph, does this show where what would have been Mr. Royce's vehicle, motorcycle, striking the Nissan?
Yes, sir.
And is this a diagram that you produced that shows the way that you believe that this particular crash occurred?
Yes, sir.
Could you kind of just take us through what we are looking at in this diagram?
Yes, sir. So this is an overhead view of Beach Boulevard at Washburn Road. It includes both eastbound and westbound travel lanes to include the turn lanes and the bicycle lanes along with the medians as well. Right here is the two motorcycles traveling westbound. And then right here is where I was able to place the area collision. And again, it's two different collisions. Mr. Spirito's motorcycle collided with the pillar area on the passenger side first. And there's Mr. Royce's motorcycle collided with the passenger side rear corner second. And it would have knocked the or forced the pickup truck to begin to rotate in a clockwise manner, and it came to final rest down here. Mr. Spirito's motorcycle came to final rest here and here, and then Mr. Spirito's right here, and then Mr. Royce's motorcycle came to final rest here.
Did Corporal Downhauer go to the hospital to attempt to meet with Mr. Hernandez Martinez?
Yes, sir.
And I guess I could say Mr. Hernandez Martinez was taken to the hospital from the scene.
Yes, sir, by J. Hardy.
Did Corporal Downhauer indicate to you that he noticed signs of impairment or potential alcohol use by Mr. Hernandez Martinez?
Yes, sir.
Did you become aware that the hospital that Mr. Hernandez Martinez went to, I believe it was Memorial, had taken samples of Mr. Hernandez Martinez's blood upon his admission?
Yes, sir.
Did you obtain a search warrant for those samples of blood?
I did.
What did you do with those samples of blood?
They were transported to our station for submission of evidence, and then they were ultimately transported to the Department of Law Enforcement for analysis.
And did you receive the blood alcohol analysis of those samples of blood?
Yes, sir.
And did it show a 0.219, 0.220 blood alcohol level for Mr. Hernandez Martinez?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you. Any questions at all?
No.
Thank you. May you be excused?
You may.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, Mr. Kalinowski, appreciate the efficiency. Are there any, at this point, you have statements that are going to be read by parties?
Yes, sir.
And you can call them as you, whatever order you'd like, and then obviously if the victim advocate or anybody needs to come up with them and to assist, they'll be fine too.
Thank you very much. I'll start with friends and family of Mr. Royce. So Cody Taylor and Lauren Zinn. I think there's a joint statement.
Take your time, just come on up. Alrighty, whenever you're ready, and take your time. There's no rush at all. And if you need assistance for whatever reason, Mr. Kalinowski can assist. And feel free to proceed whenever you'd like.
I just ask you first to state your name and spell it for the court report.
My name is Lauren Zinn, Laurien. My last name is Zinn, Z-I-N-N. Good afternoon. My name is Lauren Zinn, and I'm a friend of Joseph Royce. Joseph Royce was one of a kind, unique human being. He was generous and understanding man with a heart full. I met Joe at Airsoft event in 2022 at a time in Airsoft 3. Right away, he welcomed my friends and I as we were around the area. He welcomed us to the table while guiding us around the field. He loved to help people, and he was the type to give you the shirt off his back. I remember my first time coming to another event shortly after his son's ankle was pulled. It was springtime around my father's birthday. I was struggling as my father passed away 6 months before. Joe had ran to his car to get something for his airsoft, and I was walking, and he was walking back when he saw me upset. After a few minutes, he got me started laughing and making jokes. Only to find out over a year later, he knew all too well how I felt. His advice, and those laughs I will always cherish and remember. Joe's life was hard, but he gave so much. As I speak on behalf of my boyfriend Cody and I want to hopefully express how much being without Joe has done to all of us. As I look around this courtroom, I see Joe's family broken and destroyed by a continued careless act. His mom, Nina, father, Richard, and brothers Cody and Alex lost their brother, the rider died, and lost his son. Cody met Joe when he was in 6th grade, and Joe was in 7th. Like most of the preteen and teenage boys, they bike as private. Over time, the bickering starts subsiding and they grew fond of each other. They say family don't end with blood, and this is so true in this case. Joe lived with Cody for years, always helping mom and dad when they needed. Going to airsoft with Alex and Cody, Pretty been working on his next project car. Joe loved his cars and bikes. He was an amazing driver and loved to take night drives. We not only lost our brother, but one of our airsoft family members. We lost ourselves to this. The constable that was selfishly taken will be a constant heartache and pain that we will face every day. My only hope is that I hope and pray no one will ever know this feeling. Long live Joseph Royce. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Next, Alex Taylor.
Mr. Taylor?
If maybe they can get a copy of the letter so that it can be translated in normal pieces and trying to keep up.
Copies.
That would be great. So for record purposes, with these, we'll provide copies that will be translated as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And it's going through. And then if for whatever reason there's at a later time with arguments, if he does not understand, let him know to tell you later on.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. And just, your name is probably common spelling, but either way, for the record, just say it and then spell it too.
My name is Alex Taylor, Alextaylor. When I walked in this courtroom today, there was only a feeling of dread and misery. When I look around this room, I see two families that have been through the worst thing imaginable, losing a part of their loved ones because they are not here in body, but in spirit. Joseph Andrew Matiogois was a good man who was taken from this world too soon. This year, he would have been 26, an age he was excited to reach because his car insurance would have gone down. Excuse me.
Take your time.
But it was an age he would never be able to reach or enjoy because on October 3rd, 2024, he and his friend Gabe Joseph Bisperdo were tragically in a car collision. On this day, I was at work. A few hours before the crash, I had gotten a phone call from Joseph, making plans to go to airsoft next day. I remember rushing through that call, giving quick responses, and trying to hurry back to my shift. That phone call was the last time I heard his voice. The day before the crash, me and Joseph were doing reverse parking drills for my driver's test. I drove his Mini Cooper for hours trying to get it right. On that day, when it was 12:30 in the afternoon, we picked up Cody Taylor and went to Patriot Firearms to pick up his brand new Candid firearm. We had put 120 rounds through it that day. Those will be the last memories of my brother and my best friend because of a careless action. Thank you.
Thank you for the well thought out statement.
May I please work Nina Taylor?
All right, Nina Taylor. Come on forward, ma'am, and you can have his, he can come up with you as an assistant to support that solely.
This is my husband, Richard.
All right, so Richard Taylor, and then, so spell, like everybody else, spell your name, and then after that, you can proceed.
My name is Ann Taylor, N-I-N-A-T-A-Y-L-O-R. Joseph wasn't my biological son, but over time became to me the same as becoming my son. He was an amazing young man who had his whole life ahead of him. He was lost his life too soon. Joe didn't have an easy life, or he had overcome many challenges. He lost his biological father at the age of 3. His mother abandoned him. He had 9 sisters. He had lost all contact with them at the time his father died. His grandparents had adopted him, but they unfortunately were not the best parents. In his early childhood, he had some serious medical issues. He had overcome. He had almost lost his life a couple of times at that time. But his life was cut short by a careless act of a drunk driver. Joe was full of life. Loved to drive cars and take leisure rides on his bike just for fun of it. He was an excellent driver. He loved to work on his car, his bike, he played airsoft, he had a curious mind. He would take stuff apart, put it back together, just to know how it worked. He was a best friend, a brother, a son. The pain that I had watched his family, Gabe's family and mine go through is indescribable. There are no words that can make anyone understand how this affects many people. Just 3 short months, and losing my mother-in-law from Alzheimer's and Joe to this horrible accident, I can say unfortunately the pain of losing Joe is so much worse. I guess because in my heart I know my mother-in-law had a full life. That chance was taken away from both Joe and Gabe. Joe was my son. He was a son, a grandson, a brother, a cousin, a nephew, a best friend, and an absolute joy to be around. He was full of love. Loved to joke, loved to play around. All these things were taken from us. I ask that you remember what it felt like when you were 25 and alive, and had your whole life ahead of you. At the age of 25, I became a wife. Joe will never have that opportunity. To become a husband to somebody, to have somebody fully love him with all of his heart. At 25 years old, I have my first son. Joe will never have that opportunity. His opportunity to have children is taken away from him. He'll never be able to watch them grow and be strong, become a man or a woman like he was becoming. At 25 years old, I had moved out to live on my own and make my life. Joe will never have that opportunity. Joe will always be 25. His life was cut short by a drunk driver that made horrible choices repeatedly. We are all human. We all make some mistakes. But when we repeatedly make the same mistake of choosing to drink and drive, it's no longer a mistake, but a blatant disregard for the law. Endangering human life, I ask you to remember this, Your Honor, and the lives that you have taken.
Thank you very much for the statement.
Please to the court. Our next call, Elizabeth Bradley.
All right, Elizabeth Bradley. Forward, and you can just, same as everybody, spell your name for the record, and once you're done with that, then proceed with whatever statement you have.
I'm Elizabeth Bradley, ELIZABETHBRADLEY. Honorable Judge, our world has forever changed. 10 long, emotionally unbearable months of Gabe was taken from us as a result of an admitted and inexcusable act of disregard for human life by a drunk driver. I came to begin to explain the excruciating pain that this has brought upon my family. Gabe was such a loving, caring, selfless, genuine, humble, hardworking, young, 25-year-old man who had a whole bright future ahead of him. Not a day goes by that we don't feel his absence. Reopening a wound to an already grieving family is not something I would wish for my worst enemy. Having to receive a second devastating phone call broke everything in us that night. Imagine having to break the news to your daughter that her deceased father's brother, her uncle, and best friend was hit and killed on the way to meet her grandparents for dinner just right up the street from where Gabe was. My child should not have to be going through all of this grieving this early in life due to a very reckless decision that was completely avoidable. They took another piece of our heart that night where an empty spot will forever remain. Gabe will always be loved and remembered as we continue to live for him every day as he would have wanted us to. All we can do is pray that our family receives the proper justice we deserve. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for the statement.
Next statement called Dominique Satos.
Come on forward, sir. Same as the others, just spell your name for the record, and then after doing that, you can proceed with a statement. And
My name is Dominique Stefanos, DOMINIQUE First and foremost, with all my heart, mind, and soul, it is a complete honor to speak. But if we all be honest for a second, nobody wins. Our brother, our son, God's greatest creation, human life, lay dead in the street, leaving behind complete destruction,
to the family, friends, and the entire motorcycle community. Gabe was highly intelligent with motorcycles, an absolute amazing rider, which leaves me in complete confusion how this happened in the first place. But today I get that answer. Family and friends in this bike community are completely hurt and rocked by this. We feel it every day. Did you feel anything? Seeing? Knowing his body lay dead in the street? I did.
So does everyone else?
When I received that phone call, and everyone gathered to watch his lifeless body in the middle of the street, family and friends need help and guidance to get this image out of their head. We were blessed with Gabe's presence, seeing him smile, feeling his energy, and hearing him speak. Gone.
Thank you very much for that well thought out statement.
I've been asked to read a couple of statements as well.
All right.
Some people, my name first would be from Jasmine Velez, who is Gabe's cousin. Her name is spelled Jasmine, last name Velez. She writes, Honorable Judge, my name is Jasmine Velez, and I am here as the heartbroken cousin of Gabe Espirito, who was brutally taken from us by a drunk driver on October 3rd, 2024, at around 7:05 p.m. Being only a few years older than Gabe, we grew up together. All of the cousins spending summer nights hanging out, catching lightning bugs, and eating our grandpa's dribble skewers. At 25 years old, Gabe had so much life ahead of him. He will never get the chance to experience big life moments like marriage or having his first child, but also the little moments of watching his niece grow up or a family dinner. All of that stripped away due to a careless act of selfishness. In the aftermath of this senseless act, our family and the motorcycle community are forever changed. With the trauma of losing both Gabe and his older brother, Colby, this has been a tragedy that is unbearable and incomprehensible. I ask the judge to take all this into consideration and justice be served. Jasmine Bells.
Thank you.
The next statement I've been asked to read is on behalf of Francesca Espirito Midolo, first name Francesca Dispirito, last name Midollo. And she writes, Honorable Judge, my name is Francesca Midolo, Colby and Gabe's aunt. My family, John and Melinda Espirito and Kai, are going through hell, losing their youngest son, Gabe Espirito, someone who should not have been driving drunk. The drunk driver who killed my nephew Gabe and his friend Joseph. Justice has to be done to protect the many Gabes out there. My brother, John, Melinda, and Kyle suffer every day from losing their younger son, Gabe. My brother and sister-in-law were all there, waiting for Gabe and his friend to join them at the restaurant. So please do justice for my family. We had enough. I miss both of my nephews. Colby was in an accident 3 years ago, and Gabe was killed with his friend Joseph. God bless you all, and thank you.
Thank you.
The next one I've been asked to read is on behalf of Jessica Brandlin. She is a friend. And she writes, in memory of Gabe Espirito, and I'm sorry, her name is Jessica, last name Redlin. And she writes, in memory of Gabe Espirito. Gabe was my rock, the person I turned to for everything. He was always there to listen and to support me, teaching me the importance of self-love and resilience. Every moment spent with him was a treasure. He had an incredible ability to brighten my day and make me laugh, and he knew me better than I knew myself. He taught me so much, not just about bikes and cars, but about things far more important than anything material. There isn't one favorite memory of Gabe because I cherish every single moment I had with him. We did so many things together, and every time we hung out, my whole day instantly became brighter. He knew exactly how to make me laugh, and he knew me better than I knew myself. Whenever someone mentioned him, I would light up, brag about how he was my best friend, and then text him so we could laugh about it later. If he was there in person, I'd chase him through parking lots yelling, I know you love me, Gabe, stop running. Gabe was unlike anyone I'd ever met before, and honestly, I don't think I'll ever meet someone like him again. He was one of a kind. He made me stronger, happier, and able to smile even on the days I had lost all hope. Even while fighting his own battles, he somehow found a way to help heal mine. I'll never forget those late night drives, the way he would just show up to make sure I was okay, or how he always reminded me to eat, drink water, rest, and feel safe. There was one night I wanted to give up. I had turned off my phone and my location, but he still found me, because he knew my spot and he could sense something was wrong. When he saw me, he hugged me like he was trying to pull all the pain out of me. He didn't let go until he knew I was steady again, and then he stayed with me for hours. That was Gabe. He never left anyone behind. I'm forever grateful for our adventures and heartfelt conversations. He made even the simplest moments feel extraordinary. Losing him has left an indescribable void in my life. I still reach for my phone to share moments with him, only to remember I can't. My nights are long and restless, haunted by dreams of us crying together, knowing we're losing each other. I trusted him with everything in me, and I told him that every single day. He always made sure to tell me he loved me every chance he got. He wasn't just my friend, he was my anchor, my confidant, my greatest supporter. I could always count on him to lift me up, even when I couldn't see the light myself. His presence was a constant reminder that I was never truly alone. Losing Gabe has shattered me in ways I can't even put into words. He was my person, the one I told everything to, the one I could count on no matter what, the one who made me feel safe just by being there. And now he's gone, and it feels like a part of me is gone too. I still reach for my phone to text him, to tell him something funny or ask for advice, and then it hits me all over again and I can't. It's this constant punch in the chest every single day. I can't sleep like I used to, my nights are long and restless, and when I do sleep, I have the same dream over and over. In it, he's hugging me, and we're both crying, like we both know we're about to lose each other. I wake up with my heart pounding, and it stays with me all day. Even the things we love doing together, our hobbies, our adventures, they don't feel the same anymore. It's like the joy in them left when he did. I try, but it just feels empty without him there to laugh with, to share those little moments that made everything better. The world feels duller now, quieter, emptier, lonelier. This has broken me in ways I didn't think were possible. Emotionally, I feel like I'm carrying around a weight that never leaves. The grief, the anger, the confusion, it's all tangled together and it never stops. I replay things in my head over and over, wondering why it happened, wishing I could change it. There's this constant ache in my chest that doesn't go away. Physically, I'm exhausted. I can't sleep through the night, and even when I do, the nightmares come. My appetite is different. I either don't eat at all or eat just to distract myself from the emptiness. Even simple things take everything out of me. The worst part is knowing this didn't have to happen. It was preventable. It didn't have to happen, and yet it did. And now I must live with this hole in my heart the rest of my life. I feel robbed of more memories, more late night talks, more stupid inside jokes that only we can laugh at. I feel robbed of the safety and comfort he gave me. Every time I think about the way he died, it hits me all over again that I'll never get to hug him or hear his voice. It's not just grief, it's rage, it's heartbreak, it's disbelief. It's made me see the world differently. I don't trust it the way I used to. I'm more aware now of how fragile everything is, how fast someone you love can be ripped away from you. The pain is constant, and while I carry all the good memories of Gabe close to my heart, I also carry this deep, heavy sadness, knowing he deserves so much better than this. Gabe's death has changed the way my family looks at me, especially my mom. She's watched me become quieter, more guarded, and she's seen the light in me dim. She holds me tighter now because she knows I also ride motorcycles, and that fear sits in the back of her mind every time I leave. Before, riding felt like freedom. Now I feel her worry in every goodbye hug. I see it in her eyes when I put on my helmet, that silent fear of, what if this is the last time? His accident didn't just take that from me. It left me with this constant anxiety in the people who love me. My mom is more protected now, and I feel the unspoken tension between her wanting me to live my life, and wanting me to keep safe at all costs. This tragedy has made our family moments heavy. My mom tries to be strong for me, but I know she's scared, and that makes me scared too. We've both learned the hard way how quickly someone you love can be taken, and neither of us will ever see motorcycles or the world the same way again. Before losing Gabe, I knew bad things happened, but I always believed the world was mostly fair, that if you were a good person, you'd be okay. But now I know that's not true. Gabe did nothing wrong. He was just living his life, and in one moment, someone's careless, selfish decision took him away. There's nothing fair about that. I don't see the world as safe anymore. I'm more cautious, more guarded, and I don't take safety for granted. Even the best, kindest, most careful people aren't immune to tragedy. The world feels different without Gabe in it, and I don't think I'll ever see it the same way again. Jessica.
Thank you.
Next, I've been asked to read a statement from Clarissa, C-L-A-R-I-Z-A, Rivera, R-I-Z-A. She writes, Your Honor, my name is Clarissa, and I am the aunt of my beloved nephew, Gabe DeSpirito. I want to share with you the impact his death has had on me and our entire family. At just 25 years old, Gabe had so much life ahead of him. He was kind, thoughtful, and the type of person who would help anyone who needed it. One of his greatest passions was working with his hands. He loved fixing and building motorcycles. It was more than just a hobby to him. It was something that brought him joy, pride, and peace. He dreamed of one day turning that passion into something bigger for his future. But instead of seeing those dreams unfold, we were left mourning a young man who should still be here. His life was stolen by a drunk driver, a reckless decision that ended his future and shattered ours. This loss is especially painful because just 3 years ago, we lost his older brother. Losing Gabe feels like reliving that heartbreak all over again, only deeper. He never truly stopped grieving his brother, and now we are grieving him too. No family should have to endure this much pain in such a short time. What hurts me the most is watching my sister, his mother, live with this pain. A mother should never have to bury her child, and now she has buried 2 sons. The grief in her eyes is something I will never forget. There are no words to comfort her, no way to take the weight of what has been done to our family. Seeing her suffer breaks me every single day, and it's a pain that will never go away. Gabe's kindness, his smile, and his willingness to help others made him unforgettable. The emptiness we all feel is a constant reminder of everything we lost. His laughter, his future, and the joy he brought to all of us. Drunk driving was not an accident, it is a choice. And that choice has left a permanent hole in our family. We will never see him celebrate another birthday, never watch him build a life he dreamed of, never hear the sound of him talking about his next motorcycle project with excitement in his voice. I ask the court to consider the weight of this loss. My nephew's life mattered. He deserves so much more than to have his story end this way. Justice for him means accountability for the choices that took him from us, and a reminder that no one else should have to live through what our family now lives with every single day. Respectfully, Clarissa Rivera, aunt of Gabe DeSpirito.
Thank you.
Next, Neil McCurry. I believe he would like to read a statement himself. I believe he has it.
All right, just spell your name just like everybody else, and then after that you can read the statement you have in your front, sir.
My name is Neil McCurry. First name is N-E-E-L. Last name is M-I-R-P-U-R-I. Your Honor, I'm writing this statement to show the impact of the loss of my dear friend. Gabe was more than just a friend to me. He was like a brother. We shared a deep bond through the motorcycle community, where he was vibrant, respected presence. Riding was our passion. Every day and every night, we would ride together. Those rides weren't just about motorcycles. They were about connection, freedom, and the pure happiness of being alongside someone who loved life the way Gabe did. Some of my best memories are of those rides together, late at night, when it was just us, the sound of the engines, and the open road. Gabe's friendship and his presence in my life meant more than words can fully express. This tragedy has affected me in ways I could never have imagined. Emotionally, I feel as though part of me has been taken away. Physically, the grief has left me drained, struggling to find strength in everyday life. There's a heaviness in my heart that will never completely lift. This will forever be on my mind when I get on my bike. The impact has extended to my family as well. They saw how much joy and brotherhood Gabe brought into my life. And now they see the emptiness and the pain that has been replaced. Has now cast a shadow over my home and my family life. Since this crime, my view of the world has changed drastically. Where I once felt safe, I now feel vulnerable. Where I once believed in fairness, I see how quickly and unfairly life can be taken away. My sense of security has been deeply shaken, and I carry concerns for both my own safety and the safety of those I love. The loss of Gabe is permanent, No sentence or outcome can bring him back or erase the pain of losing him. What I hope is that the court understands the depth of this impact and the magnitude of what has been taken, not only from me, but from his family, from everyone who loved and cared for him, also from the community where he made such a difference. Respectfully, we outside. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, one more for.
Yes, sir. Take your time.
As I would call Kyle DeSpirito, who is here, and I believe Miss, he's asked Ms. Holder to, oh, he's not here, okay. They've asked Ms. Holder to read his statement.
That's totally fine.
This is on behalf of Kyle, KYLEDISPIRITO, and he writes, on behalf of the DeSpirito family, from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for attending the sentencing. We thank you for your time and sharing your impact letters. Honorable Judge and this court, I present to you my impact statement letter. My name is Kyle DeSpirito, older brother of Gabe DeSpirito. Seeing my mother in constant pain, seeing my father distraught and in disbelief, this pain and suffering are immeasurable. Continuing life, it's too much. It's too much for us. Over and over, I tell myself repeatedly, throughout each day, each morning, and each night, living is too much, and we can't continue. Everything is a constant reminder. From walking into the garage each day, that's Gabe's workspace. It holds so many memories. Pictures from many years ago hold many great memories. All a constant reminder of knowing that a loved one, a family member that you have so many memories of, are all halted. That you can't have any more new memories. It's not fair. Why can't I have any more new memories? Why can't my father, my mother, family members, and friends have any more new memories? On October 3rd, Gabe's life and Joseph's life have been stolen away from them because of one man's action, because of one man's impairment, because of one man's inability to differentiate how close and how far away anything is. Life for us will forever be changed. Major depression, feelings of sadness, loss of interest, changes in sleep, loss of appetite, and low energy levels. Bipolar disorder, many episodes of the accident and mood swings. Seasonal affective disorder, changes in seasons, depression during holidays, and seasonal activities. Psychotic depression, hallucinations or delusions of the accident. Melancholic depression, profound sadness and loss of pleasure. Disruptive mood dysregulation disorder, frequent severe temper outbursts and irritability. Agitated depression, restlessness, agitation, and anxiety. Recurrent brief depression involves short but frequent episodes of depression, all of which affect and persist in myself, my mother, and my father, and friends and family members constantly throughout each day and night and morning because of this crime. Countless job opportunities have been lost, easily estimating 20 grand plus in work opportunities. All have been lost because of this tragic accident. In the past years, I lived with my little brother. Gabe drove me, my father, and my mother to many places each day. He drove me to many people's homes for myself to do work. Gabe would assist me in the work that I do. The past years prior to this tragic accident, my brother has been an outstanding helping hand. One time, he drove me to work. During the hours I spent on site, I developed a severe case of heat exhaustion. I was overheating on the site. I called for Gabe. He picked me up immediately. We got into the truck and he drove. I then started to black out from the heat exhaustion. Gabe made sure to not stop anywhere to keep the truck's interior cool with the windows rolled down until we got cold drinks. Gabe's actions that day prevented my heat exhaustion to worsen, which saved my life. Gabe's heroic actions will always be remembered. He is a true hero in my book. As my impact statement comes to a close, I respectfully request the Honorable Judge and this court please do
do everything in your ability to uphold the maximum sentence to the man who caused this crime, who caused all of this pain, who caused all of this torment. The Despirito family and friends of all who have gathered here today, they are angered by the past proceedings prior to this tragic accident, which easily could have been preventable. I repeat, this easily could have been prevented prior to this tragic accident if justice were upheld in the past. Please uphold the maximum sentence. Cal Despirito.
Thank you.
Here, I have one final, and it's Belinda Despirito. Maybe she might have want some assistance while she's up here.
Take your time.
My name is Belinda Despirito. DELINDA-DISPIRITO. Honorable Judge, in this courtroom, the Despirito family would like to say thank you for your time and letting us share our stories. My name is Belinda. I am here as the heartbroken mother of Gabe, who was brutally taken from us by a drunk driver on October 3rd, 2024. My husband and I were helpless witnesses that day to this horrific event. We got to see everything. I don't know which parents see these horrific events like we did. Gabe was not just our son, he was the youngest of 3 boys. Loved deeply by our family and many friends. He cherished. His death has ripped apart our lives and profoundly impacted our entire community of riders. In the aftermath of this senseless act, my family is engulfed in a darkness we've never imagined. Never. We struggle with sleepless nights, crushing depression, overwhelming anxiety, suicidal thoughts run through our minds, and the financial devastation that has followed. This burden weighs especially heavily on Kyle, our only surviving son. The trauma of losing our son Kobe 3 years ago, at just 29, had already plunged us into despair. The horrific reality of losing Gabe felt like a dagger piercing our hearts once again. Our beautiful, bright boy was stolen from us in the most callous manner imaginable. Gabe embodied kindness, determination, and an uplifting spirit that touched everyone around him. And now we are left grappling with the haunting memory of his lifeless body lying on the pavement for hours. Every day is a struggle. I find myself crying as I lay in bed at night, only to wake up feeling an empty void once more. Every day. Our family has been shattered, and the aches of missing both of my boys is unbearable. We are forever altered, pretending to function in a world that no longer feels whole. Gabe had a promising life filled with potential and love. Has been unjustly ripped away from us. My family prays that justice be served to the highest extent of the law. Gabe's
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so as I said before, now we're going to shift over. I'll allow Ms. Johnson to present statements. Everybody's doing a great job with courtroom's quorum. Same things will apply here. I think there's some in-person witnesses and then maybe Zoom.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so what we're going to do, we have been going for a minute. Individuals don't need to leave. We're going to just take a quick break to give the team a comfort break.
Thank you.
All right, court's going to be in recess, but we don't need to leave the courtroom. Everybody can stay where they're at. Court's in recess, though.
Would you like them to go to this podium?
Yes. Team, quick, and maybe y'all as well, a little bit of a break. At this point, Ms. Johnson, you can call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you like them to go to this podium?
Yes, so what we'll do, have them come up to your right, and they can speak into that, and then the interpretation would go the same way.
Your Honor, the first witness is Nicholas Romero.
All right, Mr. Romero, come on forward, sir.
And he does need a translator.
Totally fine. We'll put you under oath. Actually, is he just doing a statement?
No, it's question and answer, Your Honor.
I know, but it's more, it's not fact issues, it's
No.
character, etc.
Correct, yes, sir.
That's fine, we don't need to put him under oath.
Whatever works for you.
All right, and Ms. Johnson, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please introduce yourself. Por favor, presente usted.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Nicolás Romero.
Good afternoon, my name is Nicolás Romero.
Can you spell that?
¿Puede deletrearlo, por favor?
Sí, es NISOLASROMERO.
Nicolas, and then the last name is Romero, R-O-M-E-R.
How do you know Diego Hernandez Martinez?
¿Cómo conoce usted al señor Diego Hernandez Martinez?
Tengo como 7, 8 años conociendo al señor Diego. Es un gran amigo. Lo conocí por parte de mi pareja.
I have known Diego around 7 years ago. I know him through my partner.
And who is your partner and how is she related to Diego? Who is your partner and how is she related to Diego?
¿Quién es su pareja y cómo está relacionada con Diego?
Su pareja es Yulisa Sánchez. Es como su sobrina.
Yulisa Sánchez, and she is his niece.
And how much time and how have you gotten to know Diego?
¿Por cuánto tiempo y cómo ha conocido Diego? ¿Por cuánto tiempo conoció Diego?
Como 7, 8 años. Lo conocí como una fiesta familiar, como convivimos.
It was in a family party that I met him, and we have been sharing time together for about 7 years.
Can you describe some of the things that you have done together?
¿Puede describir algunas cosas que han hecho juntos?
Sí, claro, hemos convivido fiestas familiares como Navidad, Día del Pavo,
We have shared Christmas parties, like Thanksgiving dinners,
cumpleaños.
birthday parties.
What other family does he have in the community?
¿Qué otra familia tiene en la comunidad?
His wife, his other children?
Sus esposas, sus otros hijos.
Sí, convivido con su familia, de sus hijos, su señora.
Yeah, I also know them, and I have been sharing time with them, with his wife and his children.
So Diego also has a partner and children who live here with him.
Entonces él tiene una esposa y unos hijos que viven con él.
Sí.
Yes.
Can you tell us about his work and his involvement in the community?
¿Puede decirnos del trabajo que hace él y cómo se comporta en la comunidad?
Sí, yo solo sé que el señor es como bien trabajador, trabaja en framing,
He's a hard worker. He works framing.
tiene su compañía,
He has his own company.
trabaja fuerte por su familia,
He's a hard worker to support his family.
como es cabeza de familia, es el que
He's
aporta.
the head of the family, so he's the one who provides them with financial support.
Es un hombre respetuoso, amable,
He's respectful and gentle,
trabajador,
hard worker.
no se mete con nadie, es un hombre tranquilo.
He's a quiet person. He doesn't mess with anyone.
Is he involved with, or has he been involved with the local church?
Él está en se conecta con la iglesia de la comunidad.
Sí, tengo entendido que sí.
Yes, I understand that. Yes, that he participates at the church.
Is there anything you want to share with the court and with us about things that you've done with him or anything that happened?
¿Hay algo más que quiera compartir con el juez y los aquí presentes de ustedes han hecho en común?
Sí, pues, la relación en que lo conozco, pues, no tiene tiempo y sé que es un señor respetuoso, amable, trabajador, le gusta trabajar por su familia.
That's what I can say, that I have known him for a long time now, that he's a hard worker, he's a respectful person, and he likes to work for his family, to support his family.
Y sé que vino aquí a Estados Unidos por una oportunidad, Estados Unidos,
He came to this country to find an opportunity.
le ha echado ganas,
He has done a lot, he has worked hard
y me acuerdo que tiene hijos aquí y hijos en México,
because of his kids, that he has children that he has here and also in Mexico.
ya es abuelo, tiene sobrinos.
He's also a grandfather and he has grandkids.
Y esto.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
Anything, Mr. Kalinowski?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, Yulisa Sanchez.
All right, Ms. Sanchez. All right, Ms. Sanchez, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, if you can spell your name and put it on the record, and then I'll allow Ms. Johnson to ask questions to you as well.
My name is Yulisa Sanchez. It's Yulisa Sanchez.
Yeah?
Yes.
Thank you. I know you're nervous. Okay. She may want a standby translator just because of the courtroom. She speaks English, but if the translator can stand next to her.
That's fine.
You good? Okay. I'm going to ask some questions. If you need to translate the answer, let me know, okay? How were you related and how do you know Diego?
He's my uncle.
So you've known him your whole life?
Yes.
You lived here?
Right now I'm living in another state.
And can you tell us about Diego as an uncle, a dad, and a husband?
I'm sorry, what was this?
Diego as, all his roles, husband, dad, and uncle to you.
No puede decir cómo lo considera Diego en su relación como su hijo o como padre o como esposo.
Yo lo considero un gran tío. Para mí siempre ha sido un gran tío.
I consider him a great uncle. He's always been a great uncle to me.
It's okay. So there's nothing more to add.
Ha sido muy difícil esto para nuestra familia.
It has been very difficult for our family.
Somos una familia unida.
We are a very close family.
Yo tengo muchas memorias juntos.
I have beautiful memories with the time that we have shared together.
Me siento muy triste porque veo a mis tías, a mis primas. No hace falta, les hace falta demasiado su papá, su esposo.
I feel deeply sad because I see my auntie and my cousins and how they have been suffering and how they miss their father and her wife, her husband.
And before he went to jail, tell us a little bit about your time that you spent with him.
Pues solo puedo decir que tengo muy buenos recuerdos. Él siempre fue una persona muy amable, siempre estuvo una persona muy amable con sus sobrinos, con su esposa. Siempre ha sido un padre muy responsable.
He always has been a good father. I have good memories about him. He always has been a very amiable person to his niece and nephews. He's always been a good man.
Is there anything specifically that you want to share with the court about Diego?
¿Hay algo específico que quieres compartir con el tribunal?
No sé si falta de nuestra familia, tanto como para mis primas, tanto como para mi tía. Ha sido algo muy difícil para todos.
That we miss him a lot. It's been difficult for our cousins and for our family in general and my auntie. It has been very difficult for us.
Is there anything else you want to add?
Yo me siento mucho y que lo necesita, mi tía lo necesita.
That I'm very sorry and my cousins need him and also my auntie needs him.
I don't have to say something.
Hi. Mr. Kalinowski, anything? Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Your Honor, Karina Hernandez. Sorry.
All right, come forward, Mr. Hernandez. And same thing, head on over. Does she need the assistance? All right, and just speak. You might be a little soft-spoken, so speak loud enough into the microphone, and then spell your name for the record, and then Ms. Johnson, after that, you can ask questions.
Okay, my name is Karina Hernandez. It's spelled Karina, last name Hernandez.
Easy. Actually, you look pretty.
Yes.
Okay. Karina, you are Diego's daughter, correct?
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 17.
And you're here today to speak on his behalf?
Yes.
You have had to speak for your parents a lot because you speak English fluently and they don't, correct?
Yes, that's true.
So starting from a young age, you've had to be their mouth and their voice sometimes.
Yes.
You recently had a baby yourself, correct?
Yes.
So Diego is now a grandfather?
Yes.
Has he been able to meet his grandbaby?
No.
Has he been able to hold his grandbaby?
No.
What's your son's name?
His name's Alon.
How do you spell that?
A-L-A-N.
You've lived in America?
Yes, my whole life.
Your whole life. And your father's lived here since he was your age?
My age, we got here, yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your growing up and your family?
Coming to the United States, it's not really easy when you come as an immigrant, honestly. Why? Because you feel like you're an outcast in a place that you can't talk in, you don't know how to express yourself. It's so difficult. And my parents had to come and have to go through that. I was born in 2008. I didn't really do the math when my parents came here, but in a young age, I always tried best in school for the same reason that I knew my parents needed always for themselves. Because why? It's not easy learning a language at an old age, basically. I don't know if that's correct or not, but for my parents, it wasn't easy. Growing up, I always had to translate for them and everything, and I never had a dislike about it. Why? Because I always wanted the best for my parents. My dad especially. My dad growing up always taught me it's not good to be a selfish person. Why? Because that will never have a good ending. No one likes a selfish person, and at the end of the night, it doesn't leave you with a clean conscience. Growing up, my dad had always given me life advice every single day, the type of person I had to be, and the things I had to do correctly. It wasn't until age 12 more that I started understanding more things about life and started understanding how people are and understanding simple situations. I had this one neighbor. She lives right next to us. She still lives here to this day, and she was unable to come today. But she has kids, and sadly, their father had passed away right when they were young. She has 5 kids. Basically, when we found out that her roof was leaking, she told us she didn't have anyone to help her out. She didn't have a husband, she had no family, nothing. Why? Because she came from Guatemala. She's here with her 5 kids. When this was brought to my dad's attention, my dad felt bad. That same day he went and he was able to do the favor for her. There's another neighbor, she's also single with 2 kids. Which I remember she was the one who called me, telling me my dad did her the favor of fixing her porch's roof. Why? Because it would leak a lot and her 2 kids wanted a place to play. My dad's on his free day, because he only has 1 day off. He works 6 days a week. On his only 1 day off, he decided to go do the favor for the women as well. I remember in 2023, I don't recall what holiday it was, but there was a holiday where it was our front neighbor's wife's birthday. My dad came home from a long day, didn't even bother to take a shower. Why? Because he said it was getting late. Then we had to go to the store, buy the wife a cake and balloons. Why? Because he wanted her day to feel special. Because previously our neighbor explained that he was short on money and did not know how to make her day special. That's why my dad did. That's why my dad went to the store and got the gift for them. When he came home, he told me to get my sisters and to get my mom so we could all accompany him to the neighbor. My dad felt the need that he had to make their day special before he could celebrate his day on his own. Another thing, I have a 7, I believe she just turned 8 this July 27th. I have an 8-year-old sister, her name's Jacqueline. There's not one day that passes by that she doesn't ask about my dad. She makes notes, she writes on her wall. She draws the little people in our family. And in basically the first 4 months, she started writing our basic family, including my mom, my dad, me, my sister, herself, and our 3-year-old kid. And so one day, we noticed that the little person of my dad was gone. We asked her why. She said, because it's been so long since I have seen. There's not one day that goes by that she asks me or my mom or asks my sister just casually in the car, when is she going to see her dad again? Because every single day, she just waits and waits for him to come home. My dad would come home every single night, and he would always greet her with a hug and everything. Same goes with my older sister. Every time we go out, there's not one single time that she doesn't mention, I wish my dad was here, because he would have been with us. Same with my mom. There's not one day, one afternoon, one morning that she doesn't pray and pray and pray that she's able to see my dad again. My dad was never a selfish person. That date, on October 3rd, he came home from work. He came from work. I didn't get to see him, but he was with one of his workers, and he was going to take his worker to his house. But the worker the worker came with him home. But they decided to hang out at the house because my mom was outside, the kids were playing outside, we were outside. The man asked my dad for a favor because he had gotten a call that his son was sick. One thing about my dad, he feels so much for kids because he has 8 of his own.
So, hold on one second, Ms. Johnson, if you're able to, it's been going on, and I have no problem with how long it's, I just would like a little bit more direct. I'm not sure where we're going, so if you have questions for it, that might be a little bit easier for me to follow as well. So.
Yes, and you're doing great, Karina, thank you. I know you're describing what happened on this date, and I don't think we want to necessarily get into that, but I think what you're conveying to the court is that part of the reason we're here is your dad tried to do a favor for someone. And is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Obviously that day changed a lot of people's lives. Since your dad's been in jail, can you talk about what your mom's been through and how she's...
It's been really hard because my dad was the one supporting us financially and emotionally. It has been hard without him. My mom has been having to have the weight all in her hands. Ever since my dad left, my brother had to come in and help us out because my mom couldn't do it all by herself. Why? Because she has me, my 2 other siblings, and the 3-year-old to maintain.
And I know we've talked a little bit about your connection to your dad. Is there anything special or anything that you did together? I know you said you only had 1 day off a week. What was that day like?
he only had his Sundays off. On Sunday, really early in the morning, I remember we would all wake up, we would eat in the kitchen, and then we would go out because it was his only day off and the only time he had like the entire day to spend with us basically. Sundays, early morning, we would go to church as well. It was around 11 because it's finished until like, I believe it was 2 or 3 p.m. And then after that, I remember he would take us to this one park right in San Pablo, where we would just play around with me and my siblings, he would walk with my mom, and basically it wasn't until sundown that we would go back home. Sundown, I remember that we would go home, and then again, we would spend the time together. If not, we would spend the time with my mom.
And I know we've heard a lot about what happened and carelessness and even more selfishness. Tell us what your dad's temperament about him, whether he's an angry man, a kind man, a patient man.
My dad has shown so much patience that honestly myself, I don't have that patience myself. It's really hard to have it. That's one thing for sure. He doesn't have, one thing about me, I have a short temper. That's something really bad and that I struggle with. And that's something that my dad also does not have. The patience that he has, you can't really speak on it. And it's like, one thing about my dad, he always puts someone else's needs and wants before his own because he loves seeing the smile on someone else's face before himself, on his own. Honestly, my dad never wishes anything wrong on anyone because every single time when I would get in situations I'd feel mad at someone, I'd feel like, oh no, I hate this person. He would always give me a Bible verse and tell me that it's wrong, that I need to think in a clear mind, that when I'm over it, to think back on the situation and to act accordingly.
Is there anything else you want to add about your dad and just what we're doing here today?
There's not one day that my dad apologizes for his wrong actions. He understands that. My dad, I feel like honestly, he's a really good man. He's a really good man, and I don't want to break down.
Well, let's talk about now that you're parents and the things that you see as parenting that you got from your dad and the lessons that you'd like to teach your son that your dad taught you.
Honestly, parenting is really hard. Never expected that. I'm honestly so like, wow that my parents were able to parent 8 kids. 8 kids, that's a lot. I can barely even count. I feel like one thing that I'll teach my kid is the same values that my dad taught me. That to always be kind, nice to others, greet people with smiles, have well manners. That's one thing. Because a lot of people don't have well manners, honestly. Also, the way that he looks in situations, his perspective on things. He always tries to look first on the other person's perspective before his own. And I feel like that's one thing that mostly kids do. Like kids, they think on their own, like, oh no, he did this to me, I need to do this. No, they think more firstly on the other people's perspective.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If that's, I didn't want to, is there anything else?
No, that's all.
Thank you for anything, Mr. Kalinowski. Thank you for being here in support of your dad.
Thank you.
Everyone else is on Zoom.
How many are on Zoom that are testifying?
I have a list I was given, and there are 7 on the list. I don't know if they're all present on Zoom. I see 3 people are on the screen.
And you're going to be asking them questions directly?
Yes, Your Honor, very briefly, and then 2 that might take a little longer.
Let's do the longer ones first so that I can gauge what our time frame is in regards to arguments, etc. So what's the first name?
Diego Hernandez Bruno.
Diego Hernandez Bruno, unmute yourself so that we can hear you, and you're the only person that would be unmuted on Zoom, please. Who would be the other one while we're...
Yes, Your Honor. Ernestina Bruno, who I know is right there.
All right, Ernestina Bruno, you can unmute yourself.
Señora Ernestina Bruno.
And she's going to need the interpreter?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and we are here. And you may begin, Ms. Johnson, in asking questions.
Thank you, Your Honor. If you can introduce yourself and spell your name.
¿Puede presentarse y deletrear su nombre, señora? Ernesta. Ernestine.
And your last name?
¿Su apellido? Bruno. Bruno.
Can you spell as well?
¿Puede deletrearlo? B-R-U-N-O.
Thank you.
B-R-U-N-O, sorry.
I'm sorry, thank you. You are the partner of Diego?
¿Usted es la pareja de Diego?
Sí.
Yes.
How long have you been together?
¿Cuánto tiempo han estado viviendo juntos?
30 años.
30 years.
How old were you when you became a couple?
¿Qué edad tenía usted cuando se hicieron pareja?
Tenía 15, todavía no cumplía 16.
I was 15, no even 16 yet.
And how many children do you have together?
¿Cuántos hijos tienen juntos?
Tenemos 8.
8.
Please let us know if you need to pause
Señora, díganos cuando tenga que parar,
at any point.
en cualquier momento.
Sí, está bien.
Es okay.
How old were you and Diego when you came to America?
¿Qué edad tenían usted y Diego cuando vinieron a América?
Pues la verdad, ahorita no me acuerdo, pero yo tengo como 19 años.
I don't remember right now, but I guess at around 19 years old.
And since you have been here, describe the life that you have built with Diego.
Desde que están aquí, describe la vida que ha tenido con Diego.
Pues yo le escribo mi vida, que desde que yo me junté con mi esposo, he estado con él. Ha sido un buen esposo, un buen hijo para sus padres.
I have been with him all my life, so he has been my support. He's a good husband and he's a good son to his parents.
Un buen padre para sus hijos, porque de los 8 hijos, él sacó allá a México 3, les dio el estudio, sacaron su carrera. Él ha sido un buen esposo y un buen padre para mis hijos.
A very good father for my kids and also a good husband. Out of the 8 kids that we have, 3 of them were in Mexico and they completed studies there because he was supporting them.
De que llegamos a este país, nos hemos dedicado a trabajar. He trabajado un tiempo, trabajo día y noche.
Since we are here, we always have been working hard, and there was a time that he was working day and night.
Ha sido un hombre fuerte, que se ha levantado, él ha trabajado, a la construcción, con lluvia, con fríos, con calor y todo eso porque tenía una familia, tanto como aquí y en México, y sus papás que lo estaban ayudando él.
He always has been a hard worker. He has been working in construction. Once he was working with the rain and the fire and the heat to support his family and also his parents because he had the family here and the kids in Mexico because he was helping his parents.
And since he's been in jail, tell us a little bit about what life has been like.
Desde que ha estado en la cárcel, el señor Diego, dile cómo ha estado la vida.
Pues yo le voy a decir que no es fácil, entenderán que no es fácil una mujer para sus hijos. Desde que él se fue, no ha sido fácil para mí, porque siempre hace falta la pareja, porque él era todo para sus hijos, para nosotros y todo eso. No le voy a entender, desde que se fue él, noches que no dormimos, la niña de 8 años cada vez me pregunta cuándo va a llegar su papá, que ella tiene mucho tiempo, que no ha llegado, tiene un papel.
Okay, one moment. It hasn't been easy, you know, he's my partner, and living with our partner is difficult, also for the kids it's difficult, for everybody here. My daughter, she's 8 years old, she hasn't been able to sleep well, she's always asking me about his dad, when is my dad coming?
And you have recently become a grandmother.
¿Usted recientemente se la hicieron abuela?
Sí.
Yes.
Before Diego went to jail, what kinds of things would you do together as a family?
Antes de que Diego lo pusieran en la cárcel, ¿qué cosas hacían juntos como familia?
Nosotros hacíamos todo, íbamos así de compras, a comprar el lunch para los niños, las niñas y todo eso, convivíamos y todo eso. Él era un buen padre y un buen esposo, todo el tiempo que yo estaba junto con él.
He always has been a good parent, a good parent and a good husband. We would go grocery shopping, share time together with the family in general.
Would you describe him as a man of faith?
¿Puede describir que es un hombre de fe?
Sí,
yes. Yes.
Mi esposo ha sido un hombre bueno, honesto, trabajador, que le gusta ayudar a la gente. De ahorita no llevaba mucho, que tenía su compañía, apenas llevaba no mucho tiempo, pero le gustaba ayudar a la gente que no tenía trabajo.
He's a humble guy, he's a hard worker, he always likes to help people, and he just recently started his company and he's always been working.
And how did his faith guide him in his life and his role as a father and husband?
¿Cómo la fe ha guiado a su familia y el rol que él ha tenido como padre en su familia?
Primero Dios, dándole gracias a Dios cada vez que él se levantaba, decía otro día más, Dios, que tú nos ayudas para poder ir a trabajar, tener trabajo. Él siempre agradecía a Dios por tener trabajo, porque de su trabajo, gracias a Dios,
noticia estando él allí con un dolor, con una tristeza en cuatro paredes.
So he always has been a man of faith. He always has praised God and said, thank you, God, for my job, for my family, for everybody, for my kids. And then we gave him the news when he was in jail that his mom passed away, and he was very sad.
I'm sorry, continue.
Y su mamá murió, él le dimos la noticia cuando él estaba allí, tenía un mes. Él trabajaba porque también le mandaba porque ella se pasaba enferma de su enfermedad y todo eso. Y pues cuando se dio la noticia que su hijo estaba en la cárcel, pasaron los días, ella estaba mala del corazón, pasaba los días llorando y hasta que se fue su mamá. Porque ella sabía que era un gran hijo, porque desde el momento que él llegó aquí...
Hold on one sec. Hold on, Madam
Espere,
Attorney.
señora.
Advise her to give, you can let her know, to go slowly so that she's going on way too long for you to be able to catch.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Señora, tiene que ir más lento y hablar oraciones cortas para que yo pueda interpretar, okay? Dame un momento. So, we gave him the news that his mother passed away when he was 1 month in jail, and her mother knew that he was in jail and she was suffering from the heart, and also she was crying a lot. But when she knew when she learned about the news that he was in jail, she was suffering so much, and then until she passed away.
Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add that I haven't asked you?
¿Algo más que quiere decir que no le he preguntado?
Slowly.
Sí, sí. Les pido, tanto en el nombre de Jesús, pues, que tenga piedad y misericordia de mi esposo, que nosotros lo necesitamos, tanto como yo, su familia, sus hijos, él tiene sus nietos y todo eso.
Well, I asked the judge to please have mercy for my family, we all need him, my family, my kids, and I ask you in the name of God to have mercy.
Anything, Mr. Kalinowski? Yeah, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Gracias, señor.
Tell her thank you, and then she could mute herself, but thank you very much for being
Puede poner el
here.
teléfono en mute. Puede apagar el teléfono.
All right, Ms. Johnson, the next one.
Thank you, Your Honor. If we can try to see if Diego Hernandez Bruno is on.
Is it Diego Hernandez Bruno on?
Diego Hernández Bruno está conectado en Zoom.
What's the relationship?
His son.
Okay.
But I can move on, Your Honor. If the person in the left top corner can identify herself.
She's not going to know she's in the left top corner, I don't believe, but who's the other name?
Well, I have several. I can go to Maribel Sanchez.
Maribel Sanchez, if you can unmute yourself if you're on Zoom, please.
Maribel Sánchez, si usted está presente, ponga el micrófono.
We'll move on to Risida Hernandez Sanchez.
Risida Hernandez Sánchez.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, and you may proceed, Ms. Johnson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Sanchez, do you need a translator?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Oh, thank you. If you can introduce yourself and spell your name.
Yes, I am Risida Hernandez Sanchez. It's spelled BRISEYHERNANDEZ.
And your relationship to Diego?
I'm his niece.
How old are you?
I'm 26 years old.
You've known him for 26 years?
Yes, I've known him all my life.
You are here today to speak on his behalf. Can you tell us about Diego as an uncle and a family member?
Yes, I wrote a statement. Is it okay if I read it?
Yes.
Okay. I have grown up closely to my uncle. My uncle's a hardworking man who I've always sought out to provide for his family. My uncle is a loving father to his 8 children and a loving grandfather to his grandchildren. My uncle is many things, such as a supportive brother, a devoted husband, and a kind friend and a productive member of the community. My uncle is the type of person to give anything he can offer to someone in need. His vivacious personality is easily contagious. My uncle has always been a present man in my life through all my life milestones. He's been there to congratulate me on every birthday, every graduation. He's always been a hardworking and responsible person. As a middle schooler, I hated going to school, so I would always, sleep, oversleep. And I would think I'd get away with it, but my uncle would be right outside ready to take me to school, shower, coffee in hand on his way to work. That's something distinct about my uncle is He would always wake up very early to conquer his day. I could swear by 7 a.m. he had already mowed his lawn, showered, had breakfast, grocery shopped, and still had time to take a nap. That's the type of man that he is. He's a go-getter. I used to think as a teenager what a lame old man thing to do, but I get it now. I am him. One of my favorite memories of my uncle is leaving our house after family dinner. His second youngest daughter had gotten a new scooter, and on their way home was trying to teach her how to ride it. They pulled into their driveway and they both fell over, rolled up into a pile of trash. I remember watching him across the street, dying laughing because I always think he could ride a pink princess scooter. I know he takes great pride in providing for his family. He worked 12 hours a day, every day in Florida. He worked in construction. He never gave up. Every day the same routine. He has never hesitated to help relatives, friends, or neighbors in times of need. He is the first to lend a hand, whether it's fixing something around their house or supporting someone through a tough time. Above all, he is a loving and devoted family man. He deeply values family bonds and has always taught us the importance of staying united and looking out for one another. His kindness, patience, and sense of humor have been a big source of comfort and strength to our family. To the victims' families and friends, we want you to know that we are sorry for your loss. We cannot fathom your pain. I am sorry to everyone on here for the circumstances that we all have to meet. My uncle's not an evil man. The only thing we seek is for a fair sentencing and to and one day have here.
Thank you for that statement.
Your Honor, if we can see if Eric Ramirez is present.
All right, Eric Ramirez. And then, as well, just so you know, Ms. Johnson, I would let you proffer anything you thought, an argument that they would be adding to what you've already presented. So you can certainly proffer anything that, is that acceptable, Mr. Collins?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, it doesn't appear that Eric is present. Maria Elena?
Sí, hola, buenas tardes, estoy aquí.
All right, she's there. Then you may proceed, Ms. Johnson.
Thank you, Your Honor. If you can state your name and spell.
Diga su nombre y deletrelo, por favor.
Sí, soy María Elena Casimiro, MARIAELENA-CASIMIRO.
Soy María Elena Casimiro, MARIAELENA-CASIMIRO.
How do you know Diego?
¿Cómo conocí a Diego?
Bueno, yo a ellos los conocí porque su hermano de él bautizó a mi hija.
So he's the godfather of my daughter, and I met them both long time ago.
Yo y mi esposo lo conocemos desde hace 14 años, cuando lo vimos en casa de nuestro compadre, y desde entonces lo empezamos también a frecuentar como amistades. Desde entonces,
we met him and his wife in the godfather of my daughter house 14 years ago, and we have been sharing time with them since.
Can you describe Diego and the time that you have spent together and what you have observed?
¿Puede describir el tiempo que han compartido con Diego y lo que ha observado durante ese tiempo?
Claro que sí.
Of course.
Bueno, desde entonces siempre hemos convivido todos, cualquier cumpleaños, día festivo, día del pavo, Navidad, todas esas fechas que son importantes, compartir en familia, siempre lo hacíamos juntos. Las mujeres cocinábamos, los hombres ayudaban, hacíamos posadas. Yo pertenezco a un grupo guadalupano de la iglesia, siempre fui hacia ellos cuando quería patio, con la posada.
So we have shared time together since birthday parties, holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas time, all important days that we share in family. Women, we all cook together, and men, they will help us. And we also do the posadas, and I'm a member of the church. ¿Puede continuar?
Sí, como decía, yo como soy en el grupo guadalupano, yo hoy les pedí ayuda para las grandes festividades de las iglesias, y el señor Diego nunca se negaba, siempre decía que sí. Siempre estaba ayudando, tanto a la comunidad como a la iglesia, porque era cosa de reunirnos mucha gente, o sea, para estar ahí, que si un rosario, que si una posada, y nunca dijo que no, o sea, a él su fe, o sea, él le gusta, él está envuelto
Hold
en
on.
la católica.
Señora María, un momentito.
Let her know the same so that she...
Sí, ya le voy a entrar un momento. Yes, as I said, I'm a member of the Guadalupano group at the church, so I will ask them for help because it's a group of people that they participate in this event. So Diego always will say yes, always will help us. We will all go together and pray the rosary, and he's a man of good faith, and they always collaborate with us at the church. Ahora puede continuar con oraciones cortas, señora María.
Sí. Y así es como ha sido todos estos años. Nunca hubo un problema, nunca hubo nada, nunca hubo problemas ni peleas, nada. Todo fue, era como que, o sea, compartir las familias. Entonces esa era la razón por la que tal vez siempre nos hemos mantenido unidos, porque ellos...
Sí, señor María. All these years we always have been together, never we had a problem, no fights, no difficult situations. We always share as a family and that keeps us all together.
A mí me gustaba o me gusta todavía compartir porque, bueno, me gustaba, quise decir, porque cuando las niñas estaban más chiquitas, pues mientras uno cocinaba, recuerdo que don Diego hacía carnitas, entonces las niñas jugaban, corrían por ahí, por toda la casa, las muñecas, todo eso, entonces tanto los niños jugaban como nosotros compartíamos.
Señora María, moment. So the problem is that she's telling a story and sometimes I cannot give you chunks because it's going to, but she said...
Madam Interpreter, you can let her know, stop, in Spanish, and then that way it'll be broken.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. Okay, well, I remember when the kids were little, the girls would play around the house and Diego would make carnitas and we all play together and we all have a good time. Okay, señora María.
Bueno, yo creo que, inconciso...
Un momento, señora María.
Your Honor, just we're using in translation, the interpreter just explained to speak in brief snippets.
That's fine.
Can you explain that to me?
Sí, señora, hable en pedacitos para que yo pueda interpretar lo que diga.
Sí. Bueno, en concreto, solo quiero decir que...
Summarizing, I just want to let you know.
Que nunca hubo problemas con ellos.
We never had trouble with them.
Y que él, pues, siempre ha sido una persona respetuosa.
He always has been a respectful person.
Muy trabajador. Que yo he visto que estuvo siempre con su familia, sus hijos.
Always been with his family and his kids.
Siempre llegando del trabajo. Y como...
Always working and always seeing him coming back from work.
Y lo que puedo decir es que, pues, él es muy buena persona, pero...
I can say that he's a good person, very good person.
Pero solo Dios sabe por qué pasan las cosas.
Only God knows why things happen.
Y espero que él tenga más fe en Dios, que todo va a estar bien. Y,
I hope that he has faith in God and everything is going to be good. Everything is going to be fine.
Y es todo lo que puedo decir porque ya no tengo más, no hay cosas malas, todo ha sido bueno con ellos.
That's everything that I can say because they always have been good, everything is good with them and nothing bad around.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Anything, Mr. Kalinowski?
No, Your Honor.
All right, may she be excused. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being here and taking your time.
There's one more name I'd like to just check.
Yes.
Araceli Sanchez?
Araceli Sanchez.
And Your Honor, in case I missed someone, if maybe the interpreter just made an announcement, if there's anyone else who wants to speak.
Let's approach the sidebar real quick and we'll go off the record.
Your Honor, we have gone over the list that we have and the people we see on Zoom. And we don't have any other witnesses to call. We do have a brief allocution from Mr. Hernandez Martinez.
All right, that'd be fine. You can come forward. And have him get the microphone close to him, have him face me. Have him come around to you. Have him come all the way around. So he's looking directly at me. All right, and real quick, we'll put him under oath. I know it's an allocution, I just have one question for him. Madam Clerk.
Raise your right hand.
Levante su mano derecha.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. Yes, I swear.
All right, Mr. Hernandez Martinez, the witnesses available have testified. Is that your understanding? And are you comfortable with moving forward with me allowing for Ms. Johnson to proffer or say what the other witnesses that you listed, what they would have said had they come into court? And you're comfortable with moving forward with that? And your attorney's done everything you've asked of her thus far, correct? Thank you. All right, if there's does he have something written?
No, Your Honor. Just a brief statement.
All right, if you have a statement, you can face me, and then you can make the statement, sir.
Nada más quiero decirle delante de ti todas estas personas
I only want to tell you and in front of everybody here
que de verdad lo siento.
that I'm truly sorry.
No pensé que pasaría esto.
I never thought that it was going to happen.
No me queda más que decir que lo siento por todas las familias que están aquí presentes.
I don't have anything else left to say, just that I'm so sorry because of the family that are
De
present
verdad,
here.
lo siento mucho.
That I'm so sorry. I'm very sorry.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Anything further besides argument, and then obviously you have what's been admitted without objection, the folder?
Nothing further. I have a binder I provided, I emailed and have provided to the court today, and just say there's one additional comparable case that wasn't in the original email that is tabbed.
All right. All right, so then what we'll do is, first, all right, we'll proceed with argument. I'm going to allow Mr. Kalinowski to make argument first, and then Ms. Johnson, I'll give you the last word, and I'll probably take a brief recess before trying to pronounce sentence. All right, Mr. Kalinowski?
Thank you, Your Honor. There's very little that I can add to what the friends and families of both Joseph Royce and James Spirito added today about them and their lives. But one thing that struck me is that they both, at least, were doing something that brought them joy and something that they loved at the time. And the two of them were friends and they were riding together, and Mr. Spirito had his family close by, which is both good that he was loved and had family nearby, but also tragic that his family was right there when it happened. And that's easy to lose in the context of everything that happened, that on that body camera footage, when the officer was first arriving, the gentleman that you can see walking closest to Gabe's body, whose voice you hear and whose face you can see, is Mr. Spirito. That's Gabe's father right there, watching his son on the ground. And I can't imagine what that is like, and I think they only gave a piece of what that has been like for them. And Mr. Royce's family had to, they were perhaps fortunate not to be there at the scene, but their loss is no less for losing their loved one. This is a crime that is 100% preventable. Mr. Hernandez Martinez certainly did not set out to cause harm, but that is exactly what he did. And the positive things that we've heard about him, that he was a hard worker, that he loves his family and has a family that loves him, is perhaps, I have no reason to dispute that, but it certainly is also true of Gabe Spirito and Joseph Royce. And I'm sure if they could make a plea to this court to have mercy on their loved ones and have the chance to be with them again, they would prefer that over whatever sentence the court metes out today. What I think is something important as far as Mr. Hernandez Martinez in his sentencing is that he had a prior DUI arrest not even 2 years before this happened, from December of 2022. And that DUI arrest, which the paperwork was included in the state's sentencing memorandum, was reduced to a reckless driving, and as the court is well aware from your time on the bench as well as an attorney, those cases are reduced to reckless driving for mixtures of legal reasons and mitigated reasons, and those could have come into play in this. And I would like to think that part of the reason for reducing that prior charge to reckless driving was to give the defendant a chance and an opportunity, because he perhaps is a hard worker, has a loving family, and hopefully help him out. And regardless of the facts of that case, it should have been a wake-up call to him, and should have been something that tells him that he needed not to drink and drive and to stay out of trouble. He didn't have a driver's license. He didn't have a driver's license in 2022. He didn't have one when he caused this particular crash. He was still on probation because he had not completed his alcohol evaluation and follow-up treatment. That was part of the reduction of that DUI charge for reckless driving. I believe the probation affidavit from that case indicated that he had done his initial screening, but had not followed up with his appointments, which perhaps could have been something that prevented this tragedy, but it did not. The defendant did not learn from that prior arrest. He continued to drive. He drank and drove. The blood alcohol level in this case is above a .20, so not a borderline case, not a perhaps didn't know, was not aware of the level of impairment. It was a significant level of impairment at a .20. Notably, this was at 7 o'clock at night that this crash occurred on Thursday. So how long the defendant had been drinking that day, what he had been drinking. At 7 o'clock, it's still light out when he makes that left-hand turn in front of the motorcycles where Mr. Boyce and Mr. DeSpirio were. There's the old saying that when you do time, the family does it with you, and I sympathize with Mr. Hernandez Martinez's family, but this is Mr. Hernandez Martinez who has caused him to be in this situation and has put his family in a terrible position. But there are two families here who are in a worse position, and that's what we're asking the court to consider. For the sentence that we're asking the court to impose, we do believe that it should be adding up to the 25 years, which is the maximum under the plea agreement. The way that I prefer to structure a case such as this, where there are two people deceased, I prefer to ask the court to impose an identical sentence in terms of years for each person. So the way we ask the court to structure it is 12.5 years as to count 1, Florida State Prison, and then a consecutive sentence of 12.5 years on count 2. That doesn't need to be followed by probation. We would be asking the court to impose 2.5 years of probation at the tail end of count 2 for the extent of its jurisdiction. The only thing that is required is DUI schools. That is the only thing that we are asking the court to specifically impose. I believe it would be DUI school level 2, since he was ordered to do DUI school level 1 previously. As the court is well aware, the defendant does have an ICE hold on him, and I would fully expect that in the sentence he is deported. However, the addendum to the plea agreement does outline something that we wish the court to announce orally, which is, should he be deported, his probation should be considered a non-reporting probation. However, if he were to re-enter the country, he would be found in willful violation of that probation and could be face the powers of this court once again. For what it's worth, there is a permanent driver's license revocation that comes with this. You didn't have a driver's license anyway, nor do I expect you would ever be able to get one. But nonetheless, the court should impose a permanent license revocation. But we would be asking the court to sentence him to 25 years based upon the conduct in this case, the fact that he had a recent prior DUI arrest, and the loss caused to the families and friends of Joseph Boyce and Gabe Spirit.
So just so I'm clear, it would be this, what the state's requesting or asking is 12.5 on count 1, and then a consecutive 12.5 on count 2.
Correct.
Which would be the maximum authorized, which is 25 years.
That's right.
That would be followed by 2.5 years of probation to complete DUI school level 2. And then there would be a permanent DL suspension, but there would also be, and it's required, it would be 4-year man-min on each of them. That's not day for day.
That's right, Robert.
ordering and reserving restitution, if any?
I don't believe they're specifically seeking restitution. We've had that conversation.
I will go ahead and order and reserve either way, and then just to ensure, regardless.
Take care.
All right, Ms. Johnson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before I begin, I should note that included in the packet, the binder, there are additional character letters from witnesses that we did not hear from today, and those included Bartolo Alonso, Rizelda, Juan Carlos Huezo, Huezo, Ray Hidalgo, Demarius Uvezo, Huezo, Rizalva Galindo, and there were two that are in Spanish, Yulisa Sanchez, who I believe was actually on Zoom, and Maribel Sanchez, who we did hear from. I just want to make that part of the record, and it is in the packet. I also would like to begin by, on behalf of Diego's family, sending our condolences to everyone who was here today. It was remarkable, the support and the love that these two men had, not just from families, which is expected, but from people who considered them family, despite not being blood relatives. And there has never been a moment where Mr. Hernandez Martinez or his family made light or deflected on the pain that his actions have caused. That's why we're here in a plea sentencing hearing and not a trial, not a motion to suppress. We never tried to lawyer out of this. We never tried to fight the medical blood draw or the actual physical control. It was always Diego's intention to take responsibility because he knows that the pain he has caused is inexcusable. I heard the word careless repeatedly, and clearly that is what it is. Diego made a point of saying he didn't want to hurt anyone. And that's always the case in these DUI manslaughters that Mr. Konowski and I both have had the misfortune to litigate both sides of. And that's why the guidelines are so high to begin with. These cases score for high prison sentences regardless of your character, your intention, and even to some extent your record. Diego has a prior reckless, but essentially a minimal record to no record. He has been in this country for 30 years and has spent the vast majority of that time merely working, raising a family, teaching his children values that line up and seem so consistent with the victims' families' values. These two families have so much in common, and the suffering is not comparable. Diego is alive. There's no way to compare those things, and no sentence will bring back these two men. Diego will spend a large chunk of his life in prison. He has come here today knowing that, and we have never asked or said that that should not be the case. 15 years in prison is not a small amount, and he will not be released to his family at the end of that sentence. He will be deported. There can be no doubt about that. So whether Florida and society housing him here for 15 or 20 or 25 years, he is not going to get out and live in Jacksonville. He will be deported to Mexico. Perhaps his family will join him, maybe not. That's obviously not anyone's concern today. But a 15-year sentence is not a small sentence. Since he's been incarcerated, Diego lost his mother, who he did not get to see for a last time. He's had a grandson, who he has not got to meet. And he has a 17-year-old daughter who shouldn't have to come to court and talk on behalf of her father because of his criminal actions. She shouldn't have to translate for these parents. She shouldn't have had to grow up far before her time. But she was remarkable. And the things she said her father taught her are things that we would want all of our children to learn from us, to be good, to believe in a higher power, to think the best of people, to be kind, to help others. Again, the values that the two men that we're here to mourn also upheld. I have provided a sentencing memorandum, and as we do in some of these cases, I have pulled cases that I would call comparable cases. Obviously, as Mr. Konowski spoke about the reckless, we don't know why things plead down or why things are negotiated. I don't know the facts of the reckless. For all I know, Mr. Hernandez Martinez was not provable as an impaired person. So I don't think that, we talk about his repeated actions. He doesn't have a DUI. But the comparable cases that I provided, and some of them, unfortunately, we see many cases where there are prior DUIs. In the folder that I've given to the court is the case of the state versus Danielle Hernandez from Clay County, from our circuit, which is the arrest warrant. Case number is 22 CF 230. And in that case, Ms. Hernandez also pled to a range. In her case, it was 15 to 23 years. Her blood alcohol level was 0.177, but she had an aggravator that is shocking. She was out on bond on this case and received a DUI, violated her scram, was arrested for a DUI, and then ultimately pled to this range that we discussed. And the 15 was a total that could be a split sentence, and in fact she received, and I provided the judgment sentence as well as the information about her misdemeanor arrest, 9 years in Florida State Prison, following 6 years on probation. A shockingly light sentence, and certainly not what we are contemplating today. Likewise, there are other cases in Jacksonville, again in our circuit. One is the case of the state of Florida versus Cerda, C-E-R-D-A, and that is someone who killed a 21-year-old woman. Judge Tigert sentenced Ramon Cerda, C-E-R-D-A. He had a blood alcohol level of 0.128, and she was a recent graduate of FSCJ, is survived by her parents and one sister. And Mr. Cerda, who admitted he'd been drinking before a crash into her car, was sentenced to 12 years for DUI manslaughter. Another case that I have provided is a former corrections officer, someone who one would expect better behavior from. His name is Cassius, C-A-S-H-I-U-S, Edwards. He was 29 years old when he was driving 121 miles per hour and had a blood alcohol level of 0.19 and killed 32-year-old Siobhan Mackey II. He was sentenced to 8 years in Florida State Prison. And it was said by his family member that this was out of character. Well, of course it's out of character. Nobody sets out to kill people, but as the law dictates, when you drink and drive, that consequence is certainly foreseeable and you can be prosecuted. This range begins with what I believe is an appropriate sentence, this 15-year sentence, given that Mr. Hernandez Martinez is 45 years old. As the PSI indicates, he has a 6th grade education, but has still been able to work as a carpenter, support his 8 children, be with the woman, the only woman that he's been with since he was a child, essentially, for 30 years. She spoke about her partner and not having him to be with her. And of course, it is the consequence of his behavior. The PSI has recommended 20 years, and I understand that recommendation, but I believe and I would ask the court to sentence Mr. Hernandez Martinez to 15 years, followed by what the court deems an appropriate period of probation, with the understanding that it is impossible that Mr. Hernandez Martinez ever is released into our society to serve that probation, because he will be deported to Mexico, where he will remain for the rest of his life after serving that sentence. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you have any response into any of the cases that she brought?
Having handled the 2 Duval County cases, I would just say that every case is different and judged by its own facts, and I don't know if it's useful to spend time distinguishing that. I believe the facts of this case speak for themselves.
I suppose I imagine if I gave Mr. Kalinowski an opportunity to review cases that people got higher sentences than a certain amount of time. But at the same time, I'm just curious as to one of them, the Cassius case that you mentioned, how many people were killed in that with the officer? She's the one providing the case.
Yes, sir.
So how many people were killed in that case?
It was 1 year, and he was sentenced to half of the bottom.
But there was one.
Absolutely.
And then the other case as well, I believe, Cerda, you mentioned here from Duval. And that plea was a plea up to 15 years. Same question. How many people were killed in that?
Your Honor, if I may just respond to that, Your Honor. That is why we understand our guidelines and our plea negotiations are not in single digits. They're not in that neighborhood at all. That is appropriate.
No, I just was pointing out, and the reason why is because I tend to agree overall, each case needs to be analyzed individually. We wouldn't want a pattern one way or another, whether it's the state showing a case where somebody got 60 years on something or you getting something. I need to try and analyze this case independently, and that's what the court's going to do. So.
Thank you.
All right. Anything further from either side? All right. I will take a recess for about 5 minutes, and I'll come back out to pronounce sentence. Thank you. And any such reentry or remaining upon reentry shall be considered a violation of Hernandez Martinez. Record. All right, we can get back on the record. And is there any legal reason why a sentence should not be imposed?
The defense, Your Honor.
Not from the state.
Thank you both. First, to Ms. Johnson and to Mr. Kalinowski, throughout the case, I appreciate your professionalism, which anytime I get to point out, I always do. I'm not surprised on very difficult cases that you guys always make sure that that stays first and foremost, so I appreciate it. Second, as part, so I'm just going to read the addendum as part of the plea, so I'm going to do that first, and that was the agreement. So the addendum that was part of the plea, and it's due to the detainer that Mr. Hernandez Martinez has, and it reads as follows. As part of the plea, the defendant agrees that any Florida State prison sentence may be followed by any lawful period of probation or supervision. If the defendant is removed from the United States or undergoing removal proceedings at the conclusion of his prison sentence, the parties agree the defendant shall not be considered in willful violation of his probation, and his probation may be unsupervised. While probation will not be supervised if the defendant is deported or removed from the United States, a specific condition of his probation will not to re-enter the United States, and any such re-entry or remaining upon re-entry shall be considered a violation of his probation. So, in considering what the court finds an appropriate sentence, I will first read in part Florida Statutes 921.002, and the Florida legislature has determined that facts or factors that should be considered prior to announcing a sentence. And 921.0021B, the primary purpose of sentencing is to punish the offender. Rehabilitation is a desired goal of the criminal justice system, but is subordinate to the goal of punishment. The penalty imposed should be commensurate with the severity of the primary offense and the circumstances surrounding the primary offense. And the severity of the sentence increases with the length and nature of the offender's prior record, which the court did review as far as the prior case that he was on probation for at the time of this offense. Mr. Hernandez, you can come forward. All right, Mr. Hernandez, first, so you understand this, the ripple effects of your actions have clearly impacted your family, which obviously loves you, and the support is throughout, and that happens oftentimes with cases that I have. And this sentence is in no way a reflection of the support that your family has for you and the support that you've provided your family. But more importantly, your actions have left two families devastated with the loss of their loved ones. The maximum sentence authorized by the court to the plea agreement was 25 years, and the court finds that due to the aggravation and also considering all mitigation presented, the only reasonable sentence is as follows. As to the first count, you'll be adjudicated guilty. You'll be sentenced to 12.5 years. Florida State Prison, there is a 4-year man-min that is associated with that case. You get credit for the 322 days that you had credit. That will be followed by a consecutive sentence of 12.5 years with the same 4-year man-min. So the total will be the maximum authorized under the plea agreement. That will be followed with a recommendation from the state of the 2.5 years probation. To complete DUI school level 2, there is a permanent DL suspension. I will order and reserve restitution if there is any. There's court costs of $518. There was a PD fee associated with your case. You'll also be responsible for any costs related to probation. You have the right to appeal the sentence if you feel it's illegal, but that must be done within 30 days. And again, Ms. Johnson, thank you very much for your professionalism, your argument, and presentation. Same to you, Mr. Kalinowski. The court will be in recess.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, no offers. Decide please exit first. Stay seated over here for a second.